Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a deeply profound case study about something we literally use every single day, our words. We're calling this one The Cost of a Promise. Our source material takes us into an incredibly gripping, honestly kind of uncomfortable historical story. It doesn't resolve neatly, but instead, it leaves us with this massive, game-changing lesson about human nature. So let's just dive right in, because the core dilemma here, it's something every single one of us has faced at some point. Seriously, have you ever said something in the heat of the moment that you later desperately wished you could just reel back in? I mean, really think about it. Maybe you were right in the middle of a heated argument, or maybe you were trying to impress someone, or you were just so overwhelmed with emotion that you blurted out, "I promise." You basically made a commitment without fully thinking it through. You made a snap decision while running high on emotion, only to realize later on that it cost you way more than you ever bargained for. It's a completely universal, modern dilemma, and it perfectly sets the stage for the historical case study we're analyzing today. You know, words are just incredibly powerful. As our source material points out, we tend to say them so fast. We just throw them out into the air, sometimes without even a second thought. But the hard reality is, once they're spoken out loud, they don't just evaporate into nothing. They linger. They carry actual weight. They literally create realities. Throwing words around carelessly comes with a lasting impact. And to really grasp the gravity of this, our explainer today is going to look at a man who learned this lesson in the absolute most devastating way imaginable. Section 1. The setup. A warrior's dangerous vow. Okay, to get this setup here, we have to look at a guy named Jephthah. He was an outcast warrior from ancient Israel who got handed this massive opportunity. But the pressure on him to win, it was astronomical. And the rapid escalation of his story is just staggering. It's crazy how quickly a high-pressure moment can morph into a permanent reality. Look at this timeline. In minute 1, Jephthah is under intense, crushing pressure right before a massive battle. By minute 2, in a frantic attempt to guarantee a win, he makes a vow to God. On day 1, he actually gets exactly what he asked for, the victory. But then by day 2, the absolute devastating consequence of that minute 2 vow arrives. It happens that fast. An emotional promise made in a fleeting second locks in a permanent trajectory. So here is exactly what he said. Under the crushing pressure of that moment, he basically tries to bargain. He says to God, "If you give me victory, whatever comes out of my house to meet me when I return, I will offer it." I mean, it sounds super intense, right? It's a massive, bold promise. But look really closely at the terrifying ambiguity of those words, whatever comes out. He spoke way too quickly. He made this incredibly dangerous vow without actually thinking through the parameters of what he was saying. He completely rushed his words. Section 2. The climax, the unintended cost. So Jephthah goes into battle and he wins. He gets the exact victory he wanted and bargained for. But as our source text sharply reminds us, some victories carry unimaginable consequences. As he travels back home, there is this heartbreaking contrast between what he expected to happen and what actually happens. When he made that ambiguous vow, he was probably thinking an animal or maybe a servant would be the first thing to come out of the doors. But reality just crashes down on him. Because the first person to run out and meet him, it's his daughter. And actually, not just his daughter, his only child. She's the one running out of the house, completely thrilled to celebrate her dad coming home safe. She's dancing, she's rejoicing, she's running straight toward the father she absolutely loves. But as she gets closer to him, everything just shifts. The absolute joy on Jephthah's face instantly vanishes, and the sheer, crushing grief replaces it. Just imagine the heavy, suffocating silence of that exact moment, the sudden whiplash of it all. He literally tears his clothes in mourning. He cries out that she has brought him very low. The realization of what his hasty, reckless words have just cost him hits him like a freight train all at once. Section 3. The aftermath. Grieving an unlived future. Now, up until this point, this has entirely been Jephthah's mistake, but suddenly, the sheer weight of his words falls squarely onto his daughter's shoulders. Imagine her total confusion. She comes out celebrating, and her dad is just devastated. She has to be thinking, what did I do? What is happening? And then he tells her about the vow. Remember, she didn't make this promise. She didn't choose the situation at all. And yet, she responds with something that is just incredibly unexpected. Not with anger, not by rebelling against her father's foolishness, but with this quiet, astonishing strength. She says, "My father, if you have made a vow, do to me according to what you have said." She completely accepts a devastating consequence that she had absolutely zero part in creating, but she does ask for one absolutely crucial thing. She asks for time, and not time to grieve her death, but time to grieve her future. She heads into the mountains for 2 months to mourn. She's mourning the life she's never going to live, the dreams that will never unfold, and the story that will never be written. As the source material so beautifully and tragically points out, sometimes the greatest grief isn't about what you've lost, but what you will never, ever have. She spends those 2 entire months mourning deeply, carrying the immense consequence of words she didn't even speak. Section 4. The takeaway: the weight of words. This ancient story, man, it's uncomfortable. But it absolutely forces us to face a truth we routinely ignore. Devastating damage often comes simply from careless words, not always bad intentions, just careless words. We live in a world where it's just remarkably easy to throw out everyday emotional promises. You know the ones. I promise I'll never do that again, or I swear I'll change, or oh, I'll definitely do this for you. We say them to sound strong, or maybe just to get out of an awkward, tight spot, or because we're riding some kind of emotional high. But Jephthah's story, it's a huge warning flag for us. Emotions fade, they always do, but the consequences of our commitments stay. Rushing our words can end up costing us far, far more than we ever realize. So here is the clear, direct challenge for all of us today. Number 1, think before you speak. Really understand the cost before you make a vow. Number 2, don't make promises just to sound strong or to impress people in the moment. It's just not worth it. And number 3, and this is probably the most important one, don't let fleeting emotions make permanent decisions for you. Not every single moment of pressure needs to produce a lifelong commitment. And there's another layer to this that we just can't ignore. Maybe you're watching this and you actually find yourself relating way more to the daughter than to Jephthah. Maybe you have felt the heavy, suffocating weight of words spoken over you. Maybe you're dealing with the fallout of broken promises right now, or decisions someone else made in a rash moment that completely derailed your own life trajectory. Well, this story, as tough as it is, it sees that pain. It doesn't ignore it, and it definitely doesn't pretend that careless words are somehow harmless. It totally validates the immense collateral damage of a broken or careless promise. I want to leave you with this final lingering thought. Not every moment needs a promise, but every single word has weight. Are we going to be people who speak carefully, who choose our commitments wisely? Because, as this historical case study clearly proves, once spoken, words cannot be taken back, and sometimes they cost a whole lot more than we were ever prepared to give. Choose your words carefully today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.